How to enjoy a real good cup of coffee in Italy. You know, Italy prides itself as being the coffee capital of the world. And there is an entire coffee culture that exists there. So if you are going to Italy for your first time or another time subsequently, I want to tell you a little bit about the Italian coffee culture so that you can order coffee and enjoy a coffee as the Italians do, and that you can stand next to an Italian and have a cup of coffee just like a local. I am Carol Amendola Dianca, and I host immersion trips to Italy for small groups of people every year, and I've been doing it for over 10 years now. So I want to share some things with you that can make your life and your coffee experience even more enjoyable. I'm standing here by my coffee bar, or our coffee bar at home, and so I am here at our home, and we have tried to reproduce and replicate what the cappuccino is like in the morning and the espresso later in the day, and this is what our coffee bar looks like. And we're pretty serious about it, and even more serious when we're in Italy. So the first thing that I want to mention is that coffee in Italy is produced and sold in a coffee bar. So it's not a bar that you would go to have an alcoholic drink, but it's very commonly called a bar. And Italians just line up in the coffee bars in the morning. They probably have a coffee at home before going to the bar, but the coffee bar is a place where you can really get to see your friends, say hello to your neighbors, meet some new friends. It's a whole ritual that happens, and it happens rather quickly. When you go into a coffee bar and you order a coffee, it's made very, very quickly, and you drink it down and you're gone again. You talk to a few people, you say hello, whatever you need to say, and then you are on your way. So that is how the Italians drink their coffee. If it takes more than a minute to make an espresso, it's a long time. So they say that the food is slow in Italy, but the only thing that's fast is the espresso. And that's because they just are made one after another in the morning. And speaking of in the morning, that's the only time that Italians will have a cappuccino, and you'll notice that many of them, even in the morning, are not having cappuccino. They're not having cafe with milk, they're having an espresso. So an important thing to remember is that after 11 o'clock, and certainly after noon, Italians don't drink cappuccino. They don't drink things with milk. It's only first thing in the morning, if then. Another thing that Italians do when they drink coffee is they have water with it. If you'll notice in the coffee bars, you order an espresso, you get a little cup of water. These are one of the wonderful things that Italians do without even thinking about it that keep them so healthy. Coffee will dehydrate. So they have coffee with a little bit of water so that they don't get dehydrated. And they probably don't even think about it, but that's just been part of their culture and part of the ritual. Another thing about the coffee in Italy in the morning or at any time is you don't order a soy latte. You don't order a mochaccino or get something with a big whipped cream on the top unless you're in a place where there's a lot of tourists and they know that there are Americans there and they're going to pay 5, 6, 7 euros for one of these fancy drinks. Otherwise, in the villages, in the small towns, that doesn't even exist. So if you ask for a latte, what you will get is a cup of milk, because latte means milk, and that's what they know. They might look at you a little strangely, but they'll give you a latte, but it's not going to be a soy latte or a chilled latte or any of the fancy drinks that we have here. And with regard to the coffee bars in Italy, the coffee bars are just beautiful places. I mean, they can be very, very basic, but there are so many beautiful, hundreds of gorgeous coffee bars that you can go into and really enjoy. One of the most famous ones in Italy is in Naples, and it's Cafe Gambrinus, which has been there since the 1800s, has a long, long history, and it's gorgeous inside, and you can go in there and have a coffee. If you stand at the bar, you're doing it more like a native Italian. If you want to sit down, many times you'll be charged extra. So there's an extra charge to sit. So I think it's best just do it when, you know, as they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and stand there and have your coffee with everyone else. When you go to order a coffee, the person making the coffee doesn't normally take the money also. So there's usually a cashier, and the cashier takes the money, and then you take your ticket and you get a ticket. If it's a €1.50, €2, something of that sort, and you take your ticket and you go over to the coffee bar, and then they make the coffee for you. So it's not one person doing everything. And making coffee in a good cafe is a long-term job profession for people. It's usually males. There's a lot of females now as well, but it is a profession. It's not college kids making some extra money. It's not part-time workers. It's usually the owner that has his employees that he's known for years and years. So it really is a profession, the same as it is in the restaurants. The other thing that I would say is when you go to pay for your coffee, pay with a small, pay cash. If you're buying 1 or 2 cappuccino or espresso, pay with cash, because they really don't like having to deal with a credit card and then pay their extra fee just to be able to sell a coffee. And so if you are paying with cash, probably it's a good idea not to pay with a bill that's €100 or €50. Try to have some smaller cash with you, so you use €5 or €10 at the most, or the coins that are $1 and $2 at a time. So these are some things to remember about the coffee culture. Obviously, Italy is just the world's best coffee makers. Is part of the everyday ritual that they have. It's much more than just drinking a coffee. It's called un cafe, and as I mentioned, it's a place to meet friends, enjoy a quick coffee, and be on your way. Lastly, I will say this about my city of Naples that I love so much. There's another ritual that you can do, or tradition if you would choose, and that would be to, when you pay for your coffee, leave some money for another coffee and tell the cashier it's for someone else that can't afford a coffee or needs a coffee. Because there are people that will come in and ask, can I get a coffee, or they just don't have any money, or maybe the person making the coffee wants to surprise someone. And so leave some additional money and say this is for someone that doesn't have a coffee or needs one today, and they will be very, very happy that you're following the tradition. I don't think that happens everywhere in Italy, but I know that is a solid tradition in the city of Naples. So if you've enjoyed this information and you want more people to know about it, please subscribe so I can continue to send out more videos about coffee culture and many things about traveling in Italy to many, many more people. Thank you so much, and I will see you in another video about traveling to Italy and making it one of your best trips ever.